Everyone, and welcome to yet another night of Azure Dreams. It is me, Sen Knight, and I'm going to be with a programmer here tonight so we can actually do and see and check this match, this awesome match. Are you guys hyped for this?
I know that I'm certainly hyped, Sen Knight.
Yeah, this is a very interesting match. This is semifinals. The winner of this match goes directly to the grand final. You gotta bring your A game, and I know razorflamekun and DreamyVision has both done some great games so far. So if they bring the best that they've done so far in this tournament, we're gonna get some really good Azure Dream tonight.
Absolutely. So let's explain what Azure Dreams is. If you're new to the game, you're just a fan of SpeedGaming.
Yeah, so the game is a roguelite game. This is a mystery dungeon game, to be more precise. So you will explore a dungeon that's randomly generated. You never get the same items. You never get the same enemies. Everything is pretty much randomized. But obviously, the game is not supposed to be cleared in one go. That dungeon is really hard, but it will become incrementally harder up to a point where you're supposed to go back in town and then explore and talk to the people. And there's a dating sim, there's a town building aspects of the game, and every time you come back in, you're gonna be just a little bit stronger. And you're supposed to make like many trips, maybe around about 15, 20 trips around the tower to reach the top, which is the end of the game. Now, these guys are not gonna do that. They are gonna try to reach the top on the very first go. Obviously, if they do fail, they have the right to come back in and try to attempt it a second time, but the goal here is trying to reach as high as you can in a total amount of 1 hour. So that's going to be crazy. Let me tell you that right off the bat.
Yep, and so we measure progress by which player has reached the higher floor first. So if their overall highest floor that they've reached is, say, 28, it doesn't matter if at the end of the hour they've died and come back in and are only on 13. They've reached 28 and that's their high score. If they happen to reach that floor before their opponent, of course, we're here on SpeedGaming, we want to go fast, and so they would be the victor in that case of a tie.
Yeah, exactly. You really want to make sure that people do not just stay on the floor and grind up to a comfortable level and hope that their opponents stumble and then beat that. You want to always encourage the faster gameplay if possible, and so a tie will always be resolved by who gets there first. And you might think that it doesn't happen too often, but it really does. We have a seeded tower option baked in that programmer actually made here, and thanks to that, they will have both the same tower. So if they end up in a very bad, like they use an elevator, they're gonna get into a room. That room is they don't know what it is randomized, but it's randomized in the same way on both sides, so they don't know what they're gonna get into. 3 enemies as a startup, they should be able to deal with this, but that's the kind of situation that is scary, right? So there's a very good chance they both die on the same floor if a starting room is just too unfair, and then speed is how you determine who's the winner. They are going to explore during the five first floor, I assume. These are pretty much the easiest of all the floors. Obviously, this is where you should get your bearing, understand how to play the game the first time. Enemies hits hard, but you should be able to tank most of it. And after those five first floors, once you reach floor 6, the things are going to get south real quick. Want to expand on why?
Oh, yes. Because in this game, there's an elemental triangle, and your starting familiar is of a fire element. Once you reach... frog trap here on Dreamy's side. Once you reach floor 6, that's when a majority of the monsters begin to be of a water element, which your fire monster is weak against, and therefore those floors 6 through 9, we call the water floors, and are quite scary.
Yeah, you really don't want to mess around with these guys. Also on floor 6 specifically, there is a strategy in this game where we can pick up enemies and throw them away. We've seen that on razorflamekun's sides already. On floor 6, no enemies can be lifted. and moving forward, most of them cannot be lifted as well. So it becomes really stressful knowing that one of your very good option is just off the table. Picking up monsters is not 100%. If you miss, you also get hit in the face by that same enemy. But it's 62.5% chance successful, so you might want to gamble on just picking up enemies and throwing them away. We see razorflamekun go for that a lot, and right now it's not paying off.
Yep. Now, these are just trolls, and he is now level 3, so he should be able to take them out without too much difficulty. He does have, a decent shield. The players found right near the start a mirror shield, which gives 1 additional defense over the starting wooden shield, but also has a 75% chance to reflect spells.
Which can be huge. I was going to say, what we'd want to see right now is a wand, and as I said that, we have a wand on razorflamekun's side. That's a money one, really not the greatest, but all wands, no matter which they are, increase your mixed magic power by 25%. And mixed magic is what we're seeing them use all the time. CUNY casts fire on your weapon, then you slam them with that fiery weapon. Obviously, swords are stronger per se in terms of how much damage you deal with raw attacks, but that percentage increase instead of flat that you get from wands when you use mixed magic early on might not be the greatest change, but later it's gonna make a world of difference. So yeah, getting a wand early is not necessarily the greatest increase of strength right now, but you know that you're gonna be safe later on. Just having it makes you feel much more comfortable.
Right. The percentage boost from the wand, ideally we'd be looking for a wand with a matching element, which would give you the same type attack boost on top of the wand percentage boost. And so for fire magic, that would be the Scarlet Wand. And so everyone feel free in chat to go a little bit crazy if we see one of those come up. Stream Wand would also be good. It's possible to change your familiar's element, which we can come to a little bit later, perhaps. We saw Dreamy be the first one to reach floor 4, not by his own volition, but by one of the many traps of the tower. Some interesting layouts that we've seen so far. That little side passageway connecting around to both sides of the room, kind of interesting, and the upheaval trap actually preventing monsters from entering. Traps can occasionally be helpful, like the go-up trap if you're done exploring, if a monster, of course, hits a trap, it can be easy pickings, perhaps.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't, because Dreamy does not get the money wand. And so it means that even though that's not the greatest difference right now, I would say that razorflamekun has got a small advantage here, just because of the wand. Obviously the shield is good, but it both got it, so no difference there. But the difference in having a wand versus none could be huge really early on. But finding any wands, like one in particular might be on the rarer side, but finding a wand, whatever it is, shouldn't be too scary. Let's just hope randomization at least gives them a little chance in. Put at least one other one somewhere in the tower.
Right. As you mentioned, this is a seeded tower using the Azure Dreams randomizer, and that means that they should have the same item spawns, the same initial monster spawns, as well as, of course, the traps and layout of the floors themselves. Yeah, that's not a great floor to enter. 3 awake monsters, 2 of them being balloons, and I've never been particularly fond of balloons, just because of how hard they hit. To me, that would be a great case to use a resource like a fireball charge.
Oh, that sounds like... Yeah, CUNY's gonna take a beating here, and oof. Yeah, this is starting to be really scary. Razorflame tried to throw a weapon, which didn't work, and now he lost a turn to that. Yeah, it's gonna... Okay, Mirror Shield is helping a lot, reflecting a spell here, but that CUNY is not long for this world if he doesn't do anything about it, and fast.
Yeah. CUNY could probably, well, it's taken the hits that it could probably take, so it could probably use to be bagged. But if the flame attacks, ooh, CUNY's gotta be down to like 1 HP or something like that.
Yeah, I like how DreamyVision take this. He really clears one of the balloons really quickly, and then put CUNY behind himself, which razorflamekun just did. And now they know that CUNY will be safe. They have a medicinal herb to heal themselves, so it's easier sometimes to just have to deal with one health pool and managing it and knowing how much damage you're going to take per turn, rather than having 2 health pools slowly decaying, and then you cannot use 2 medicinal herbs in 1 turn, right?
Right. But of course, health is a resource which is renewable, and sometimes if you can play things a little bit risky, use a little bit more health but save an item use, sometimes that can be beneficial. So one of my favorite things about Azure Dreams is just the fact that we get to see a variety of play styles. There really isn't a correct way to play. As well, this tournament, because we are highlighting our stars, our starting tamers and rising stars. So both players who have been playing the game for a while but might not have gotten the exposure before, or new players to the game, we'd like to give them a chance to shine. And so if you have a sub 1 hour time on the 90% leaderboard for the game, you were banned from participating in the tournament. And of course, these players have made it out of the group stages of that tournament, which had some really nice players in it. So credit to both of them. And we're seeing them make decent time. For a duration type run, reaching floor 6 or 7 by the 11-minute mark or so is pretty good.
Oh yeah. The old premise of this tournament was really to showcase newer player and give them a spotlight. Obviously, there was always players of varying skill level on every tournament, but for obvious reasons, the one that were a little bit more experienced took the spotlight and won the whole thing at some point. We get another money one on floor 7, so DreamyVision gets a chance to get that one. But yeah, the point was to, if we remove the veterans from the equation and make them become coaches instead, then all those runners that are quite good but just get maybe a little bit overshadowed can get a place to actually experiment and play a tournament. And yeah, we have DreamyVision, razorflamekun, and on the other side of the bracket, Chai and Rizonaire. They are the creme of the star tournament. They are the guys that got out of group stage and showed us that the difference between a star and a veteran is not as big as we thought it'd be. And I like that. I like that. I know next tournament we're gonna get some real good competition.
Right, because even the players who might not have made it out of the group stages, we saw that they showed us some great matches as well. And this entire tournament's been hype, and I'm glad to be casting it with you.
Yay!
So, back to the game at hand, we see that both Razor and Dreamy are on floor 7, Razor having made it up first and being the first onto floor 8. I do have a little tracker here to keep track of who entered a particular floor first, as well as their own highs. Just should that be necessary. Of course, we'd like to see both players get as high as possible. I should note that the tower does have a finite length, at least in this mode. And so if one player does reach floor 40, the top of the tower first, they are declared the winner.
Yes, because there's no way the other one will get there faster. Reaching 40 is a very rare and scary thing. During this old tournament, it happened twice. Once for Chai and once for Azure Yume, which has not even got out of group stage, just to give you an idea of the like how good. Oh
Down
yeah.
goes Cuny on Razorflame's side. He had bagged him earlier in order to save him, but those U-boats, water monsters, you can see the blue, more watery type explosion effect there, just deal considerably more damage to fire monsters. He is looking low on health there. He's used his medicinal. He does still have a fireball, but I don't believe that would be enough to take out the Maneva.
Oh, yeah.
Looking to decision time. Egg bomb it is.
Egg bomb it is, but you need to dodge here, and that is not a dodge. Just a bad situation. Sadly, got cornered. But yeah, Razorflame goes down on floor 8. A valiant effort. But the great news, though, is that it's only 15 minutes in. If you start your second climb now, maybe the tower will be a little bit more gentle on you, and you can absolutely catch up. 45 minutes to go is much more than enough time to fight back, and that's the good part. If you are to die early, at least, so you can come back stronger.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we saw Dreamy absolutely rocket ahead here, just zip through those water floors, and is now on floor 10, where we see mostly fire and wind monsters, including those annoying crossbow trolls, but they aren't the worst things and give decent experience.
Yeah, the big difference here... Sorry.
I should note that Razorflame will be going up a different tower now, but should DreamyVision leave for whatever reason, either by choice or not by choice, then he will encounter that same tower that Razorflame is going through now on Dreamy's second entry.
And the reason why I would probably be grinding on floor 10, which I see DreamyVision is a little bit at least, is because, first of all, like you said, enemies are fire and or wind. So even though they are much stronger than the enemy one floor below, you remove 2 water monster from the equation. So that's bigger than the level difference. Oh, and he didn't get a choice. He goes to 11. But my point is, the difference in experience is not to be understated. The enemies one floor below would probably give around about 4 to 8 experience. Here they give 42. So even if you were able to fight one floor below, you would still prefer to grind here, because like 1 enemy kill here is worth like 4 enemies kill one floor below. That's huge. So that's a good place to catch up. You probably can do it. Even if you're low level, you can use 1 or 2 fireball charges just to bring you to that, over that hurdle, and now you can physically fight those crossbow trolls. Yeah, they're annoying, but they're a good way to see who's mastering like movement in this game. They will only shoot you if you're in a straight or diagonal line from them. So using like I always think to move so I make an L shape like a horse moves in chess. So as long as you do that with them, they cannot shoot you. So yeah, exactly. He took a hit just to give another shot to Cuny, but other than that, DreamyVision so far has been dealing with those crossbow trolls exactly like you want to see it, which is something not every runner has mastered so far, but DreamyVision knows what he's doing. He really dealt with that without a problem.
Yep, and we see that Razorflame is fighting Gauche to get that free medicinal and possibly a wind crystal.
Hey, there we go. That's
nice.
A 10% drop, right?
I thought it was... I have it in my mind that it's 25%, but...
I'm gonna believe your numbers. Yeah, I didn't tell you guys that, but hey, everyone in chat, I am Sen Knight. He is Programmer, and Programmer is the guy who has all the answers to all the questions you can ask. And I'm only here to scream, so we're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm here to laugh and scream. That's pretty much my job. So if you say it's 25%, I 100% am sure that's correct. An egg on floor 11. First level we can find Garuda Egg. Does Dreamy feel lucky tonight?
Well, given the speed with which he's moving through his menus to try to free up some inventory space, I'd say that Dreamy is feeling excited. He may be hoping that those are truth glasses.
Oh, it is! What do we get? What do we get? Oh, sadness and sorrow, yeah.
So we should explain, for those who are not familiar, you can, if you can hatch a Garuda, that's a monster that has a absolutely broken ability insofar as you can use its abduct ability to abduct yourself, which will warp you and your familiar, the Garuda, to another tile, just as you hit a warp tile like that.
Yeah, just like Warp Trap.
Yes, thankfully this is only floor 3 on razorflame's side, and I think he's got enough to survive, and CUNY, if CUNY's fighting back at least, should be able to take things out, but I don't believe razorflame set him to an AI that he would be fighting back.
Yeah, we see only one CUNY seems to be in battle. It means he gets hit, but he doesn't fight back. That's kind of dangerous. That's a very specific situation, one of which you might not practice when you're newer to the game, which razorflamekun is. You learn really quickly, but these are the small things that you might never get to practice, so you don't know. Sadly, we lose CUNY on this side again. He decided to win Crystal. That's definitely the way to go. 20 minutes in is still quite enough time to fight back again. 20 minutes is good.
Yeah,
I would have done
and he'll be coming in with items this time as well. Some of the equipment that he picked up that first go around. So that's will make his climb just a little bit easier. I'm
gonna very quickly answer Septic Tank's request in chat. The game is a roguelite turn-based mystery dungeon type game. So in terms of combat, it's very simple. Every time you do one action, everything else is going to do the same. So if you move once, everything is going to move once, but everything acts after you do. If you see an enemy move like in DreamyVision's side, and he doesn't, it's because he's pressing two buttons, a button combination that lets you skip a turn, because he wants the enemy to come in rather than him going in and getting hit. Other than that, everything moves at one at a time. You cannot move and attack on the same turn. You got to choose. The enemies are going to do the same. And so it's a lot of like tactical, counting the numbers of tile. Oh, we see a fusion on DreamyVision's side. All right, he's not losing time here.
Yep. And so to feed into the combat mechanics, a Dreamy found the blue collar, which allows you to have a second familiar out at the same time. With two familiars out, you can fuse them together, and it can potentially mean that as a result of the fusion, an element, or the resulting monster's element, might be different from what it started with, which in this case, CUNY has gone from fire to water.
Yes.
Which he's using for the benefit of mixed magic, where CUNY gives up his turn to cast a spell on the weapon you're using for attacking. You see now he's casting Blizzard Sword. That's the effect of the water mixed magic that CUNY is using.
Yes, and I can tell you I know DreamyVision enough to tell you that he will only not do that if he finds a Scarlet Wand. As long as he has a neutral or a stream one obviously, but as long as he's got a neutral one, he is going to change to water. The benefit of having a water CUNY, while he's not stronger, like numerically speaking, it's exactly the same but another element. But the danger in this tower are so very rarely wind that having a water monster is just great. Yeah, you're weak to wind, but not a lot of enemies are dangerous at our wind element, and they generally can be easily dispatched with a fireball charge. So having water CUNY is just, I'm gonna say it's the preferred way almost every speedrunners are gonna go right now, if they have the chance to.
Right. So as when you have a CUNY that is not, or a monster which is using a spell which is not in its default element, that spell will no longer level up. But after I worked out the damage calculation numbers, we realized that at least for the Flame, Blizzard, Sword, and Windcutter spells, you get 90% of the potential damage at level 10, and you'd only be getting like 10/11ths of the potential damage at level 11, so you're getting diminishing returns.
Yes.
So it absolutely makes sense to kind of around the time you'd be able to get the blue color to switch CUNY over to water, and you start with that Palumpa egg. Palumpa being a water familiar, so thus were born the water strats.
Exactly, because we already knew, even from casual playstyle, that water was stronger. If you built a fighter, like a monster that will only physically attack with you instead of casting on your weapon, 99% of us were already doing a water version of that because of the strength it has. And we knew water was strong. The reason we never changed CUNY's element to water was because its spell was not leveling up anymore. But as soon as programmer taught us about how it's not exactly how we think it is, and past level 10 it's not worth leveling anymore, the spell doesn't gain anything from being leveled anymore. In terms of mixed magic, we're like, wait a second. Wait 1 second. Now, obviously, casting the spell manually, like Brid, would be stronger by leveling it up even more, but we never do that. It costs too much mana. And we have our Kraken in melee right off the bat. What will DreamyVision do?
He's weighing his options here. He's thinking about if he wants to use a resource. He can't pick up the Kraken, it's too heavy to lift. But he and a spell ball probably wouldn't be a one-hit KO. I don't happen to have the...
I mean, Acid Rain would do it, but...
Oh, well, yes.
Oh, that's not even stronger than his attack. He should have... Oh, and CUNY goes down.
14.
Critical hit. Ooh. Kraken doesn't need to crit. They're already strong enough as is.
Yeah, so with a combination of the rise from the Griffin on the previous floor, the damage reflected back at at CUNY from the Kraken's spell, and the reflected... Oh, and now he finds the Stream 1!
No! Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It really is. So DreamyVision's probably going to be looking for a restore scroll, because I don't... he does have a wind crystal, so he could leave and come back. It's only 26 minutes in. I don't know if DreamyVision started his own timer, because we see that he doesn't have one, and he's choosing to...
Yeah. You saw him make 2 mistakes in quick succession just after losing that CUNY. I know Dreamy is a very emotional player, so he will get a little bit tilted. And I think that's actually a clever way to combat that tiltedness, is just to leave. That force you into a re-strategize, like it just forced you into clearing that old emotion starting from the beginning. And leveling CUNY is probably one of the strongest resources you're gonna get. So having CUNY dead, you don't leveling up anymore. We're only 27 minutes in the game. That's still time to go. He can absolutely beat the floor he was on. So I think that's a clever move here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, and I also think the fact that he's taking the time to sell his items, because you only bring 5 with you into the tower, it does mean that he doesn't have to go through the dialogue again in order to see that, or in order to get the sell prompt. You can just ask your mom for a pita fruit and head on up. But and thankfully, as we've seen on Razor Flame's side already, CUNY does get to keep his levels, so we don't have to worry about CUNY restarting at a low level and not having a spell level. That's already locked in, so to speak. Ko, on the other hand, is starting lower.
Yeah, I think we should say that every time you leave the tower for any reason, Ko gets back to level 1. You can see that right now on your screen on Dreamy's side.
Yeah, I think we said that the lore is that every morning when Nico, kicks him, that blow to his ribs just, saps all the levels right out of him.
He calls it the lore. So after heavy blood trauma to the head, yeah, Ko doesn't remember how to be strong. There this is probably meant to be still kind of true to the roguelike experience of the old Rogue game, where if you die, that's permadeath. You're gone. You roll a new character, right? I think this game wanted to be the best of both worlds, so it doesn't erase your game file. If you wanted to progress in town and stuff like that, you can still do that. But it is as if you rolled a new co. That will still hold true if you leave the tower using a wind crystal. Even if you choose to leave and keep all your items and money and stuff, you still are going to get back to level 1. Which felt kind of weird the first time I played. I'm pretty sure that's true for everyone. But once you've actually played around with the game a little bit more casually, it is absolutely great. It makes it so every trip feel like a new trip. You never feel too overpowered before you get a very strong pet, but that might be later on. And so even when you redo these low floor, you don't feel like just, oh, I'm blazing through again that early beginning. You're actually still stressed about that beginning. You can still die.
Oh yeah, because you start with 16 HP, which is not terribly much.
No.
And also, if you leave through dying, CUNY won't even be in your inventory by default. You have to go pick them up. Mm-hmm. And so if you've neglected to do so, you're going to be in for a bit of trouble. We see that Dreamy's also opting to fight Gauche, and
one-shots him.
Yes. Fun fact, Gauche is considered to be a water-type unit. Mm-hmm. So fire-type unit. So using a water spell like that means you're able to take him out with relative ease.
Yes. And he gets to keep the stream on, so at least there's that. Right now, he's going to be extremely powerful. Let's be serious for a moment. Having a wand increases your mixed magic damage. We already said that, but you touched on it, programmer. If you have a wand or even a sword that has an element, and if it is the same as the element of the spell you're using, you're going to get another bonus. And these two bonuses, they stack together. So, yeah, you're not going to get anything stronger than that unless you actually grind a weapon to plus 50-something. Early on, it's going to be powerful, but the longer they're going to, like, the higher level Ko's going to get, it's going to become really, really potent. No jokes. You should expect to deal 7 or 8 damage here. He deals 23. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. And you've seen DreamyVision do a little bit of that. There's a strat we call the standby strat, or the AI 1 strat, where you Chen CUNY AI and you can get 2 attacks in and then a mixed magic before the enemy gets even a chance to fight back. It's slower and it is more MP consuming, but it also means that it might mean the difference between life and death. DreamyVision is very well practiced in the art of AI 1 strat, so he should have the setup to be able to fight back against almost everything until the early 20s, I'd say.
Yep. Razorflame, having made it onto floor 9, has broken his previous best for this game 1, at least. Using the truth glasses on that fireball, a nice strategy, because if you find a fireball on the ground, at least, and it's not the one on the first tutorial floor, it's going to have a random number of charges between 4 and 7. And he gets a 7-charge fireball, which is quite a nice resource.
Oh yeah,
I've heard DreamyVision talk before about resource density.
Ooh!
Might be a trap room.
Oh, that's scary.
Being stuck in a doorway like this.
CUNY will not win. CUNY will not win this fight. Do we lose CUNY here? I think so.
Oh.
Yep. And CUNY's gone. You will not unparalyze if CUNY gets hit. Only when you get hit, you have a chance to. And I think you take those 2 hits and go for the go-up trap.
Yeah. As it is, he's choosing to use a Holy Scroll on himself.
Fight back, yeah.
Yep. A reasonable option to be able to get some invulnerability, take out the monsters, to at least get some experience out of them.
Oh, he doesn't go for the go-up trap. Okay. I assume he feels he's got to get something good in exchange for the resource he just spent, and the fact he lost CUNY. But that poison trap is having another idea in mind. He is low health without pet. I was gonna say, oh geez, that's gonna be scary.
He's got a fireball.
You're right.
Here.
I was gonna say, the nice thing is he might have left the tower twice, but he is in front of DreamyVision. Obviously not in front of his PB, but that PB cannot be improved as before DreamyVision reached 15 back. So, but as soon as I was gonna say that, he gets into a rough situation. 410 alone is not gonna be funny.
Yeah, and we see in chat note that not all runners may be familiar with the way that all things can be used. We know that razorflame also runs the GBA version and ran that game first. In that, there's some differences. Like, for example, that spell, which razorflame was unfortunately hit by, just has a different name. It's called Chinook in the Game Boy Color version, but which drops you to 1 experience below the level you were previously at, and it means that if someone is familiar with the Game Boy Color version, they may say, "Oh, great! A wind crystal! I can use this to throw it at an enemy, and it'll warp them out of the tower."
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, in the PlayStation version, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's another item that takes its place. It's called the Uldim Fruit, but yeah, the Wind Crystal, you cannot chuck at enemy. I was so surprised when I saw that in GBC. Oh, Restore Scroll! Really? Wow! Programmer, you're conjuring items into the game. I'm gonna call sorcery on this. Wow, really? Restore Scroll, extremely rare item. So to have one when you actually just lost your pet, yes, that is nice.
Now, using that medicinal, that might be seen as a little bit preemptive, given that there wasn't any immediate danger. But I suppose if razorflame had stepped on a bomb trap, that would have also.
Wow, okay, he gets that one, but wow, these trolls are trolling him.
Yeah, we can see that there's a team killer over here. The troll just shooting him right in the other troll right in the back. Anyway, bomb traps have the level of the effective spell that they do determined by Ko's level, and since Ko was at the time level 9, that could have been a pretty potent bomb trap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, razorflame at least has got CUNY back, so that's a very good thing. We'll explore regenerate, that's good, but I think that means he's not going to explore 11, which is kind of scary, but he's level 10 already. I'm wrong, he's fine, he should move on. Yeah, being ahead right now is really, really huge boon. Leather shield, would he go for it? I would, but I mean, okay, pick it up at least.
Looks like razorflame has a decent inventory. Ooh, a leather shield +2. That's as good as you can find on the ground naturally.
Yep, that's my kind of shield. It might only be worth 3 defense right now. 1 because of the leather shield and 2 because of the enchantment. But it also increases your chance to dodge from 4% to 12. That should be a huge difference later on, because when you get later on, no shield is strong enough to withstand the attacks of the enemy. Removing 7 damage from an attack that deals 80 something, kind of irrelevant, but dodging an attack that deals 80 damage, now you have something interesting in your hands.
Absolutely. So we see razorflame debating about that wand. He doesn't have a D scroll in case it were cursed, but we're 38 minutes into this. So
you keep the fire sword, in my opinion. You would get the same exact bonus damage. 1 because of fire is fire sword. The sword is a fire sword. or the one bonus is the same, but the Fire Sword is a better base attack. That's going to count a lot.
Right, although it does have a little bit lower accuracy.
True, not wrong.
But you're right. The effects of the potential ceiling from Steel Wand worth almost nothing.
Ooh. How is he gonna tackle this?
Chooses to use a medicinal. That's perfectly valid.
Paralysis on Dreamy's side. Okay, he's fine. All right.
I didn't. So, I think the reason why we saw CUNY move there is something that Shawnee, another player and commentator of this game, talks about, which is when Ko eats, he has to really show off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he turns to face the camera, which means that if CUNY is set to be behind you, and there's no space behind you, CUNY will kind of wander. So a nice tip is, if you're going to do that, go ahead and tell CUNY to just chill for a moment. Yeah, tell him to stay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The fact that Ko, like, if you're facing right, to face your enemy, and so to have CUNY behind you, and you eat something, you're gonna face down, and suddenly CUNY's gonna move in melee. That's the kind of thing you need to experiment for yourself to understand, really. But once you do understand it, yeah, that's you always forget about it. But that's one of the tools you gotta have in your arsenal, knowing to tell CUNY, I'm gonna eat something, just stay here, okay? Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little bit of the same way. I've got a orange sitting in my lap right now, fully peeled, but I don't want to say, hey, Sandknight, stay here for a moment. I'm gonna eat this orange, so...
Yeah, I can cover for you while you eat the orange. I'll be fine.
I feel good. I'd rather enjoy this Azure Dreams hype here.
Nice!
So, we see that Razor Flame's onto 13. Dreamy had made it up to 14, so if Dreamy were to stop his climb here, Razor Flame would need to get to at least floor 15. But the thing is, Dreamy is not stopping his climb, so
yeah, he really can't. Yeah, you really can't. At that point, maybe, like, it depends on how behind you feel you are. Oh, that's scary as a decision. Okay, really needs to hope to not get... Oh my god.
Goes for the pickup, gets it.
Does he get sniped? That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a reasonable choice there. He probably was like, there's an exit behind you. Why didn't you just go out that way? But Holy Bell forces monsters out from exit, having begged CUNY for safety, knowing that he can't count on another commentator's blessing to get a restorative roll. And using a little bit of AI manipulation there to dodge that Newell and makes it to floor 15 first. So Razor Flame does now have the lead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We said twice when he got out, the 2 times he did, that 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in, that's still early. You can absolutely come back from that. And he did. That is just more impressive. So let's go, Razor Flame. Very good on you. But this race is absolutely not finished. I think, to me, and I might be wrong, it's too late to go back home. This is going to be your run. But they are not far off. 3 floors is nothing. It could happen really fast. The thing is, though, they are not in the same tower. DreamyVision is in the second one, and Razor Flame is in the third one. So what we see on razorflamekun is not what's going to happen on Dreamy's Vision side. So maybe one of them is going to have a elevator train. Maybe the other one is going to have just far off elevator that you don't see when the camera spin. And that Kraken might have something to say about all this.
Yep. And of course, the AI1 strat being just a little less more dangerous with Krakens because of their electroshock talent, which reflects some amount of damage back. If you're attacking in melee or with just your fists, or in CUNY's case, turning into a ball. I've never quite understood how that worked.
No.
There's a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog going on there, I think.
Oh, yeah. All right, so fighting against those new yells, they are not the hardest hitting monsters, even though everything hits hard in this tower. But they do have the ability to heal themselves. Oh my, Razorflame is in a pickle.
Yeah, he's backed CUNY for the time being, but it does. Or no, sorry, he was just off screen. But
Yep.
yeah, that's a sizable hit. I didn't see exactly how much HP CUNY has, but I don't know if he'd be able to take another easily. So this is a strat that we've seen Razorflame use twice now, where he goes ahead and turns the enemy monster into a wind seed, which means that CUNY was able to tank that hit, as well as deal more damage through mixed magic. But 6 HP is pretty low, and all it would take is one misstep, one bad input, one controller not quite listening, one cat jumping into your lap unexpectedly.
Oof.
But Razorflame
Makes it 16.
Yep.
Oh my, yeah, that's hard. During that time, DreamyVision is fighting Krakens. That might be on the slower side, but that might help in terms of experience as well. Future will say if that was a play. But yeah, that's a scary seed one. The worst part is these two runners have reached the 30s during this tournament, and you gotta play like you are in the semifinals. This is no joke. You gotta play as if your opponent has just played as his best match so far, and you gotta think that they are reaching the late 20s to the early 30s at this time. And they have to both feel behind, which is a terrible feeling. Obviously, that's not the case. They're actually really close to one another, but they cannot see each other's streams. So you gotta think like, okay, my opponent is really good. We're out of the round robin section. He already reached the 30s. I'm far, and that's gonna be scary.
So we see Dreamy deciding to take the seed, but then not explore any further, taking the elevator up. Exactly the right decision. Razorflame grinding a little bit on these Garudas. Looks like tried to go for a one stretch there. Maybe was uncertain whether he could put Keen down directly on the elevator. And doing them again here to try to get up a little bit of experience while you're fighting wind monsters.
Next floor is going to be picket floor as well, so you might want to make sure that you have the strength, but I think we have a tie. Maybe not for long, but...
Yes, you're correct. Dreamy now onto floor 16.
Oh, maybe for long. Wow, Ulim. Okay, Leolam, not so much. Easy. I think he's waiting for a Barong. He's gonna wait to see if the first enemy is a Barong. Yeah, he doesn't even care. Yeah, it's fine.
So Barongs, just to explain briefly, are the slot machines of Azure Dreams, despite the fact that Azure Dreams has a casino with slot machines. But we'll say that they're the slot machines of the tower.
Well, this is a Konami game, so.
So
and Dreamy takes the lead.
Yes, DreamyVision has now taken the lead, having made up to floor 18 first. But what could be inside that egg? These floors do have the highest chance of finding a Garuda that you can.
Yes.
So, but without truth glasses, it would be a risky proposition to spend some time heating that up.
And I think
when
he did.
You only have 12 minutes left.
But like I said, if you feel your opponent is getting onto the 30s, you gotta get to a miracle, and that might be his miracle. Right now, we know that might not be the good play because Dreamy is gonna he's gonna move forward during that time. But what if it is a Garuda, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a risk that some players may think is worth taking. Also, what do you want to bet that one of those 3 coins in a row is a Maneva?
Oh, I'm not betting on Manevas. Even if there is only one egg in a room, that might be a Maneva. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm not playing that game anymore. All right, 92, 93. Come on, what do we have? Wee Dog.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Yeah, the chance of getting a Garuda while still as its highest, there are still many other monsters it could have been. Luckily, that was not a Maniva. He's moving forward. But yeah, that could have been a very big thing, but sadly it wasn't. Wee Dog. Oh, we lose the truth. Oh yeah, I would not enter that room. Okay, it's fine. But he can get meat. Yeah, there's that. He can feed Cuny.
Yep. And so Dreamy here using a sleep ball. If you're using a sleep ball, and it's a little bit of a dangerous proposition when you're trying to get past a monster, because whenever you're in melee with a monster, or when it is in the same room as you, is a 1 in 8 chance of waking up every turn.
Yes.
And while this is Gen 1 Pokemon style, where waking up takes your turn, they do get to act after you, so they can effectively just eat your sleep ball charge by waking up that next turn.
And for some reason, I always said monster had a 50% chance to wake up, which is obviously wrong. But where did I take that? It's you get 50% chance to wake up when you get it, right?
Yeah, there's like different numbers for if you're frog versus if you're paralyzed. I don't have them in front of me. And in the interest of not wanting to ever be wrong, I'll refrain from quoting from mismemory. So we're trading the lead back and forth here. Razorflame is now the first to 17, or sorry, 19, and has taken the lead. Dreamy would have to make it up to floor 20, which he does have the resources to do, but these pickets are taking time.
Yeah, exactly. One of the only scary part, not scary, but this, like, slow part of having Water Cuny is definitely fighting those pickets. They might not be dangerous at all. They still have quite a little bit of HP, and you're trading that generally fire elemental power you have for, 2 seeds, really. For that water, and then so you deal that less damage to these pickets. That can be really, really scary really quickly.
Okay,
yeah.
We see that both the runners have switched over to water strats. I also believe that was a Mazar seed. Maybe the Co had relatively high experience, and so he didn't want to pop that until after he levels up. But Razorflame is the first to enter Viper Town.
Oh yeah, that's a very good. That's a very good. That's a very dangerous moment in the tower. Getting to Viper Town is floor 20. This is where we get to see the Vipers, which is on razorflamekun's side on the left side. That's the moment where the tower tells you, okay, that's enough. You've had your time to have fun. You've explored. That's cool. Now you're going back to town. These enemies hits really hard. They are water as well, which generally is a problem. A little bit less so now because they both turn Cuny into water. That's going to help a lot. But they also permanently decrease your attack power, or have a chance to permanently decrease your attack power every time they hit. So, and 43, a critical hit. Cuny is very close to be dead.
Right, if he hadn't changed him to water, I think that probably would have been death there.
Not even close. Yeah, that would have been a dead Cuny. Can tell you that. Wow. But luckily they did, so that's all good for them. What?
Oh, I thought he gave the Mazar seed, but I think he went over to give and hit cancel. It can definitely be tricky with these PS1 games if you're not sure whether it uses perhaps more of the Western style where X is enter, or the Japanese style where circle is correct and X is Batsu. It's back.
I was always accustomed to X is correct, but obviously if you look at the symbols, circle should be correct and X should be wrong, right? Oh my, okay. Sleepy monsters, that's good.
Or is it X marks the spot? Wow.
I like that.
Pair of elevator and Dreamy has seen the elevator on the spin-in.
Yep. He's fine. He is fine. Let's go. All right, 422 on both sides.
Yep. And Razorflame has made it here first. But that is And they're on different towers, so...
Yes. Yeah, the difference in elevator luck is going to be huge here because they're not going to get the same one. Yeah, they need to be faster. They need to both move really fast. Wow, I'm so scared because realistically, they are going to get closer to the floor 25 soon. And Razorflame re-entered 2 times and Dreamy once. That is impressive. In an hour? I mean, geez. Okay, what are the guys? What are these guys gonna get? We're gonna do. Dreamy takes the lead again by a fraction of a second here.
Wow.
And he saw the elevator during the spin, but that was very quick, so I'm not sure he saw. I think he did. He's going in the right direction though, so that's good.
Certainly, I missed it. So.
Yeah, it's on the left here. It should be here. Yep. So
Dreamy's on 24.
My God! Is that just the first race? Because we didn't talk about that, but there is going to be 2 other races, or potentially 2 other races, at least 1 other. This is a best of 3, so man, if this is a sign of things to come, I'm excited!
So, I think that's a fair point. I mean, they did get a simultaneous go signal, and they did start their runs at approximately the same time. I do think that if you aren't providing a timer, it does make it much more difficult for us.
Yes.
I do have
my God, what's happening on DreamyVision side? That elevator train! This is a giant train, and it's coming back home. All the elevators in the room. That's crazy!
Whoa!
It's again on the second room it looks in. My God, that's a feel-good moment.
That's very good. White sands allow you to increase the number of charges in your spell in a spell ball by 1. And no such luck finding the elevator on the spin-in this time, but Dreamy is still moving quickly.
Sleep trap though. Okay, good.
Yeah.
My.
And one of those loops could have been a maneuver. We do see them on floor 28, so that was potentially a little bit reckless there. Meanwhile, Razorflame using a blinded wee dog. No, that's his wee dog.
Yeah.
Which is blinded by the unicorn, but it is, of course, facing the unicorn, so it's
Ooh.
Thankfully, jumping out the way of his pet, but bagging it there might be a good play. Meanwhile, Dreamy using his sleep ball in order to put the the Mandara to sleep.
Yeah, and I like how these guys do not go to sleep; they actually petrify themselves. That's a really interesting,
So just a little bit on lore here for real. I do believe that the Mandaras are based off of mandala patterns, which are vivid designs. Oh man, Dreamy is has. Oh, and I was gonna say you better take that cure all.
Yeah, I mean Razorflame would take a cure all right about now.
Yes, he does have 2 status restoring herbs, but neither one being the one that he needs at the moment.
Okay,
the blindness in Azure Dreams not being a reduction in accuracy, but a reduction in your ability to see what you're doing.
They don't blind the character, they blind you, and that's scary. Oh my God, speaking of scary. Hi, my name is Killer and my hands are axes. I don't know what to tell you. These guys hit stupid hard, and they have increased crit chance. And when I say increase, I mean like 25% chance crit. You don't mess with killers, and they mess with you. That's what they do. Obviously, they are not too tanky. You should be able to kill it with a AI tree. I absolutely understand why you would not want to risk it. And I understand the fireball here, but I'm pretty sure it was much safer. Well, you could have missed, though. Yeah.
Right. Now let's
don't want to throw together
River Flame side. He could so X-Revan, if they do use their Get Serious ability, that will guarantee a crit. Otherwise, they have the talent Atrocious,
yes,
which makes it as if they are permanently affected by a limit fruit, which increases crit odds. And
I think it doesn't crit either. It doesn't stack either. You cannot give them the limit fruit, and they have extra chance, right?
Correct. Because they literally have that effect. So Razorflame duking out with a stealth here. That's not what he needs, because he was showing no sign of slowing down, but this floor 25 has not been as kind as some of the previous ones, and certainly nowhere close to the elevator train that Dreamy managed to find. And these resources, while nice, each one will cost time to even use, and we've seen some great hustle from these runners, but
yeah, that's going to be race 1, honestly. 30 seconds, even if we just add up the loading times of those 5 floors, or 6, because it would need to be 30. That's going to be race number 1, sadly for... Well, not sadly. Sadly for razorflamekun, it's going to be race 1. But luckily for DreamyVision, it's going to be race 1. Man, this is a good start. I mean, up until the end where that choo-choo train elevator was just crazy, just before that was a really close race. They changed the lead, like, what, 5 times in 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
All right, these guys are done with the full hour. That was a crazy... I want to see some GG in chat. Honestly, for run 1, they gave us quite a show. All right, we can't wait to see race number 2. We have 1 point in DreamyVision's side, but I'm sure razorflamekun is not done and really wants to tell DreamyVision what he's got in mind. This is going to be a crazy race number 2. Can't wait to see that.
Yep. So,
yeah, this is the scene where we're talking about. Nico, your childhood friend, will dropkick you in the face to wake you up. So that's the reason, that's the lore of the game that makes you go back to level 1. That's not the lore of the game. This should be the lore.
Right. Well, I mean, pretty much the lore of the game is a wizard did it. So,
not wrong.
Like, oh, the tower's magical,
Yep.
Just like, even if you go up to the tower entrance with more than 5 items, it's the voice of emptiness which stops you.
Yes.
Usually when the voice of emptiness is talking to me, it means I'm hungry. And
this is not an Azure Dream stream if we don't talk about food. What's your favorite kind of curry, chat? Come on. I want to hear some good curry ideas.
Absolutely. So mine has to be my friend has made an excellent green curry with chicken. Looks like Razorflame's seed is good.
Nice. 2202, yep, that's good. My favorite type of curry is any food in my belly. I like food, and I like curry. I like everything. So, rice, yes. Curry, yes. Lamb curry. Oh, yeah, lamb curry. That'd be great.
I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah. Indian influence. Oh, that'd be nice.
Yep. Panang curry, yes, that's good. My girlfriend happens to like paneer. I'm lactose intolerant, so paneer doesn't like me. But there are definitely some good vegetarian or even vegan curries out there. With some coconut milk, perhaps cut down some of the spiciness. But yes, Japanese chicken curry. I think that must have been the one that my friend made. Oh, well,
nice.
Paneer is not a curry, but you can have a curry recipient. That's an interesting way of phrasing it.
All right, these guys are resetting their run. We are all hungry now, so this is the perfect state of mind to have another race between DreamyVision and razorflamekun. Hold tight on your curry bowl. This is gonna be a bumpy ride. Okay, 2202 on DreamyVision's side. Those seeds are correct. they are going to be moving towards the outside of Ko's house. We decided very early on, after only probably a few weeks of speedrunning this game, that doing the intro is not fun. And so we decided that the starting position for the speedrun should be outside of your house at first movement. You can go back inside before starting your timer, talk to your mother, and save the game there, so you don't have to redo the whole introduction every time. And we have ways to know if this is your first entry into the tower or not. There's like, you cannot like just have saved after having done or just accumulated some kind of resources. Anyway, Ko get back to level 1. If you have items, we're going to see that. You should start with the level 1 pita fruit on your first level, and that's it. And they're going to get the 5 normal items on floor 1, which I will tell you again are a copper sword and a wooden shield. Not the greatest weapon and shield ever, but they are much better than having nothing. Wooden shield is terrible, but when you have no shield, man, you do miss that wooden shield. There is a medicinal herb that'll heal you once. You have a fireball that's going to have 5 charges, and that's definitely your best tool out of your toolbox. And the most versatile one is going to be that Palumpa Hag. It might not be super strong, but you can throw it at an enemy to deal some very good damage at one time, or you can feed it to your pet to restore 50 MP. And as you might have seen on DreamyVision side, you can fuse that into Cuny to turn it into a water monster, which can be absolutely a very, very huge difference. Water Cuny was the king during the first seed. Are we going to see that again on the second one? That's a question only these guys can answer. And obviously the tower. We want to see a Scarlet one now. I don't know what you're talking about, Pule, but I love you nonetheless. All right, I assume that the countdown has been done. These guys should be running about very soon.
Just had Currybot give it. So let's go ahead and include the nice ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls in as to what our obsession with Curry is.
That's
not pace speed. No, it's because of it features heavily within the Azure Dreams universe. It's some of the best food you can get in the restaurant, and of course, what else is there, Sandlight?
There is a situation in the normal play. You will have to woo 7 young girls and try to make them become your girlfriends. And one of them, you kind of do something that's not super chill, and she will... Anyway, long story short, you have to say you're sorry to her. And you have 3 options. You can say you're sorry with exclamation mark, you can say you're sorry with a question mark, and you can say curry. And obviously, people really fell for that. They think it's super funny. You did something kind of wrong. She looks at you kind of weird, and you're just like, curry? Which is definitely my favorite part. Now, every time I'm going to go on a date, and there's an awkward moment, I'm going to look very confused and say curry to the person in front of me. That's going to be fun. So it even became its own category. It's called Curry Percent, and it's the one that can say curry to Cheryl the fastest. I mean, that's a speedrun category. Yeah.
It reminds me of the Kirby's Air Ride 5 hot dog percent. Where your goal is to go around and get stickers in a particular map, and the first one to get time is as fast as you can get 5 hot dog stickers. There's someone who's even made the speedrunning record progression of it, no less.
Wow. I mean, I kind of want to eat hot dog now.
Even as hungry as I may be, I think I'll always decline that.
Really?
So, not a big fan. But changing the topic to the game at hand here, we have the runners. There are some particular skips that can be done within the first floor tutorial. We've seen a few be attempted here. There are more that are possible to do.
Yes.
We also saw Dreamy kind of saunter his way through that diagonal section. Speedrunning is great, but sometimes you just gotta smell the roses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's many skips, like you said, around here.
Let's see if
I don't think, yeah, he doesn't get to skip that one. There's some more convoluted one than others, and the ones that are more convoluted might save you maybe a second if you execute very fast, and you can.
But we see one executed here at least. The reason why Razorflame went down and around.
Yep,
was you get to avoid at least 2 different prompts that way, where CUNY yammers on yet longer.
Wow.
I remember tuning into a Spanish stream and hearing the the player talk about CUNY needing to Cállate and Cierra la boca. So,
are we allowed to say this thing? Because if we talk about what I would say to CUNY, I don't think we are allowed to say that here.
It just means to,
talk
close his mouth. That's the
yeah.
literal translation. So,
Nice.
we're good here. I'll also note here that they are back on the same tower, first entry, so they should once again be getting the same items, same initial monster spawns, all of that good jazz, and most critically, the same elevator lock.
Yeah, and I think we should talk about, like you said, same tower, and we mean same as in DreamyVision Tower and razorflamekun Tower right now are the same. They are not on the same tower they were on the first run. This is all brand new. They never played through that seed. It was generated randomly just before the race, so they didn't have the time to actually get into it. So this is going to be fun to see how these are going to be new challenges. They're going to have to play differently. Maybe the tower is going to be kinder. I made the seed, so obviously it will not be kinder. And I can't wait to see how they tackle this. But luckily, right now, they have wands galore, so they're fine.
Yep. So we see that here on game 2, Razorflame is the first onto floor 3 again. Getting my tracker going here. I want to use that little space in the middle to make a nice little tracker. Track the high score for, if you will, for each player. But turns out actually need to. Unfortunately, that is a cursed stream wand.
That's not too bad. As soon as he's gonna change CUNY's element to water, that's still gonna do a crap ton of damage. That -1 in damage is not huge, but there is a permanent decrease in accuracy for having been cursed once. You can remove it through, I think it's a cure-all herb if I'm not wrong, but I think it's the only way you can. And if you don't find that cure-all herb, which is kind of very rare, you are stuck with that decrease in accuracy, which might come back to bite him in the behind. Later on.
Yeah. So the being cursed inflicts a hidden status debuff, which is not removed, as you mentioned, by the Seeker Scroll, which reduces the range in which Ghost Luck fluctuates, or at least the max value and thus the average value.
Yes.
So here. It's not too dangerous a situation because CUNY was fortunately fighting a wind monster in the cyclone, but those sleep traps, they're really annoying because there's nothing you can do at that point. Once you're asleep, you may be able to access the menu, but you sure as heck can't do anything in that menu.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Sleeping can last for a very long time, and the only way you get to actually get out of this is either to wait the full duration, which can be as long as, let's say, any random number, 52 turns, for example. But in other situation, the other way you're going to get out of this, and the more realistic way you're going to get out of this, is by getting hit. And the sad part about that is if they start to wail on CUNY, they don't hit you, and if they don't hit you, you don't get an extra chance to wake up. So you're just gonna get to see CUNY get beat up bad, and he's gonna die, and then they're gonna hit you, and you're maybe gonna wake up. So that's definitely the most terrifying part of both sleep and paralysis.
I should mention that there is actually one way, if you have a little bit of time to prepare, for you to be able to handle a potential sleep situation. It's definitely a 200 IQ play because it involves poisoning yourself in advance.
Yes.
Because the poison gives you a chance to break out of the sleep because you're getting hit.
If you add like one turn before falling asleep, you could poison yourself for that. That'd be great. Like, that's something that definitely should have brought up into the game.
Yep. So we see that the cursed having been, or at least the equipment being decursed.
Yeah.
And did he drop the... Which one did he drop there, DreamyVision?
I didn't check. I hope he didn't drop the stream one. He had 2 paralysis ones, so maybe he just dropped the extra. But yeah, that was a very efficient use of the decurse scroll. He decursed both the shield and the one. So he at least gets to move them around. That Scorch Shield is going to be very helpful now, but in 2 floors you don't want to have that equipped. I can tell you that. So lucky him, at least he can unequip it and put like the wood shield back or something.
I should address chat here. So a military spork is, does it like count as? Do you have like a tactical spork? Is it made of like a carbon fiber? How does that go exactly? Boy, the people who are watching these VODs on YouTube are gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. But
we're talking about food. What else? This is an Azure Dream stream.
Of course. Okay, that's fair. So Razor Flame, the first one up to floor 5. On a respectable pace, at a respectable level, using a live shield, as they both are, in fact, to just the chance of reflecting some amount of damage back at the attacker.
We see a lot of traps, but I cannot say for Razor Flame, but I can talk for DreamyVision. One of the first thing I generally say to people when they start playing is put CUNY behind you, because the number of tiles you're going to actually walk on is going to be divided by 2, because CUNY is going to step on tiles you've already stepped on. And I see Dreamy having CUNY in a diagonal fashion. You do save a half a second for not changing that, because that's his default position. But I don't think it's really worth it. Like, we saw that in chat as well. People say, oh, there's so many traps. Yeah, they scout a very high amount of tile, and so you double the chance to walk on one of them with being a trap. So yeah, that's kind of scary, but I think it might be one of the explanations as to why.
Sure, and I think we did see at some point DreamyVision, I believe, changed that last game, but only partway through the tower. So I think it's just a matter of, did it come to mind? Ooh, that paralysis wand, not actually required here in order to be able to get through the situation, but definitely welcome to reduce at least a little bit of the damage that Ko will be taking coming into the next encounter with a little bit more health.
Yeah. There's a million ways to actually like better your play style and all those small improvements you can make, and it's really hard to remember all of them on the spot during a tournament match. I do prefer to make my map smaller. I sometimes forget during a match. All these small things, and when you actually need it, you realize, oh my, I haven't done that. Luckily, it doesn't take a turn, but yeah, you can see on Razor Flamekun, he made his map smaller, so you can see the whole floor layout in one, or almost all of the floor layout on his mini-map, whereas DreamyVision has a much more zoomed in, so you can see more details, but you also only see like a room or 2 around him. I prefer to have a big vision of like how the floor is built.
Right, and the close-up can be sometimes useful to make sure that you don't have a misinput and just menace the monster by swinging your sword next to it. But I'll note that Razor Flame did pick up a That's one of the downsides of the live shield. Sometimes the reflected damage can cause
Yes.
more Minerva clones, which just take a little bit more time to mop up. And I think that's really the operative word, given as liquidy as they are. But Razorflame did find a restore scroll on floor 6, which Dreamy also has the opportunity to find.
Razorflame doesn't know yet. Go on.
I was going to say that, if your name doesn't end with Oule Santé, then it's definitely something you'll want to pick up.
It was useful during last run, absolutely. But yeah, I would not. I would not understand why a player would not pick up a restore scroll. That seems like very weird to me. We have an egg. As far as I do remember, I think you're the one who said to me that you cannot see on your first trip into the tower an egg before floor 5. So having an egg on floor 7 is kind of early, considering that. The fine thing, though, is that it could be two very interesting monsters. What we would be looking for is a clown or a U-boat. U-boat being probably the most interesting one, or the most sought-after one. U-boats might not be the greatest fighter, and they might not have a spell, but they have a very nice ability, which for a hefty amount of MP, they're going to scout the whole floor for you. And I think CUNY is in danger. Okay, that brainwash is really good. 20 is not enough. You missed 10 here. Ouch. Luckily, the bloom seems to favor hitting Ko there.
Yeah, medicinal, not a bad choice there. But CUNY does not have much HP overall, so...
Oh, yeah. That's
he
gonna
will
hurt.
definitely need to lift him up and get him out of harm's way.
Wait, what?
Unless the boat, of course, decides to go underground.
Sure, you take that any day of the week. Alright, okay, he's good then. He's gonna regenerate that HP, and having the damage split when you start regenerating obviously means you regenerate twice as fast, so there's 2 pool going up instead of only the 1. So that's when you want to share the pain. Especially in front of blooms, they hit hard and they have elemental advantage on CUNY, but sometimes they spend a turn just trying to brainwash CUNY, and CUNY's special ability is being immune to that, so they'll still try and fail. Oh my, what's that room? Oh my, what is that room? Okay, at least the enemies are sleeping.
Yep, but every turn that goes by is time that they could be waking up, and we see that the Minerva has indeed woken up, as has the bloom.
Yeah.
The Minerva apparently decides he has something else to do, maybe another appointment.
I'm free!
Meanwhile, we should note here that Razorflame is in the lead, and is about to go up to floor 9. Is on floor 9, so maintaining that lead. Oh! That is some strong pun game for the benefit of those watching the VOD.
And I declare the pun game started. Everyone in chat, your best puns might start now. But yeah, that's gonna be hard to beat. Like, Minerva decided to split. I'm sorry, but that's gonna be hard to beat. I mean, I'm gonna be the judge of that, but wow. Wooga coming in with a strong start. Alright.
So that could have indeed been a turn order matter. We'll have to see. Frog trap on Dreamy's side, and we saw that CUNY did reveal a trap again, going to that point that you mentioned, but thankfully it didn't actually proc.
Yeah.
So Dreamy able to escape to floor 7.
Where we're gonna get the same egg?
Should be. I should note that the eggs may be different colored, but you know that one may say it's a russet egg, the other one may say it's a brown egg. But that's just a function of when my seeding occurs relative to when the randomization of that occurs.
Yeah,
So-
they're still gonna get the same monster inside, but the name of the unidentified egg might be different. So no difference there. They're gonna get the same thing. Can't wait to see if one of them decide to try and hatch it or find a third glasses and decide to use it on it. But obviously, taking the time to hatch an egg when everything is going fine and dandy is generally something you're not gonna go for in a race setting. But if you do find a true glasses, I'd say an egg on 7 is worth spending on.
Sure, yeah. Especially relative to what else you may have. It's interesting. It tells you picked up question mark, but of course you can look into your inventory.
Yes.
Was the last item, so Razorflame can do some aerobics there, just kind of doing a jumping jack or something in place. In the Japanese version, there's a separate jump button, which is, as far as I'm aware, only used for the purposes of
throwing stuff. Yeah.
being able to throw things, but there you can give Ko a workout without having to do it so against the wall. Again, we see Dreamy having Cuny fight alongside him against these blooms, and it seems to rather be working out in his favor.
Oh yeah. His brainwash RNG has been really good. I think one of the things, though, we see in terms of playstyle, these are both rather aggressive player. Like, DreamyVision is definitely one of the most aggressive type of player. He's gonna just rush and fight his way through everything. Razorflame is kind of like that a little bit as well. It might not be all about avoiding monsters, but he'll do that once in a while as well. But I think there's still a different enough playstyle that Razorflame fight a little bit less, and it shows. While that's true that it's kind of riskier, and if it backfires, it's going to be terrible, it is faster for as long as it works. And we can see that here. They've had to deal with very similar type of challenges, and Razorflame is 3 floors ahead, and that early, that kind of counts.
Right, and his level hasn't suffered for it. Of course, what I've seen from both of these players over the course of the tournament is a fair bit of adaptability in terms of after the match, if they're told, okay, hey, that game was pretty close, they may stick with what they were doing. But I've definitely seen, say, DreamyVision, if in the first match, or first game of the match, he was going a little bit slowly, he may decide to, throw a little bit more caution to the wind.
Yeah. He definitely knows how to play fast. When he loses Cuny, he always changes to a complete dash solo commando type playstyle, and he's really good at it as well. I'm just saying that as long as he's got Cuny and the firepower to fight, he always chooses to do so, which is all fine because for as long as you can do it, you kind of should. That's the best way to survive. That's definitely not the best way to be fast. And I think I agree in surviving is more important than being fast. But if your opponent just got a little bit luckier and played well as well, that start to floor 11 is scary on razorflamekun side.
Yeah.
How are you going to tackle all this? Yeah, Seraph is not wrong. The right strategy is different every seed. It always depends on what the tower throw at you. And sometimes your playstyle is going to be put on a pedestal and it's going to be exactly what was required of the tower. And sometimes you're going to play exactly the same and the tower is going to completely destroy you because of these choices. And what do we have? Dream and Egg. Sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had very hyped, especially if the last match was very hyped in terms of Egg and what was in them. Right now we are 0-3, 0-4. There was a Cyclone, which is absolutely not terrible, but didn't see any play, and that's not the craziest either. Yeah.
So I like that play there from Razorflame. A very small thing, but deciding to test out a spell ball that he's not quite sure about at a distance. And he realized that it had very little HP left, went ahead and threw his fireball at it, hoping it would take it out, but unfortunately missed. Yes, thrown items do have accuracy. It's a little bit less accurate than a wand. I think about equivalent to a copper shield, a copper sword. So the lead here has narrowed a little bit with just two floor difference, but I'm
not sure that's gonna stay though, because if I know, well, he's level 8, so I think DreamyVision is nice in terms of experience. Like, he fought a lot, so obviously his experience is really nice. But I generally do grind on 10. I know he is a fan of that as well. So while the floor count might have lowered a little bit, Razorflame should start to speed up, whereas DreamyVision might slow down the next few floors. So that lead might actually stretch a little bit.
It's true. We also see a second restore scroll. It'll be interesting to see if the players decide to be a little bit more cavalier with CUNY. Maybe use him as bait a little bit more, or have him share some additional pain, or otherwise just run a little bit faster, knowing that should CUNY kick the bucket, he can always be brought back. Yeah.
That it says in chat, it works until it doesn't with a kappa face, which is absolutely true, and I know he says it kind of as a joke, but that's also very true. The best way to play this game is definitely to try your best, do everything you can until it doesn't. The tower will decide when you will die. I can tell you that. It might be because of a misplay, but most of the time it will be because you did the best you could, and tower just said no. Paralysis trap, nothing you can do. Starting in a room full of monster, having a monster den trap. Sometimes there's just no solution to the puzzle, and you should not feel defeated or bad about that. Or obviously, when you see these runners, they should not hit themselves too hard about it. Sometimes there's no solution, so don't feel wrong about not gotten it. There was nothing you could do. Now, the point is, have you done your best? Have you performed the best you could? And if the answer is yes, then just continue to move, and nothing wrong with that.
Right. So you also used operative word there, puzzle. I do often think of this game a little bit like a puzzle game, insofar as there are specific rules. You have limited moves, and sometimes there's one and only one way to get out of a situation. But it's a bit more like a long-term puzzle, and I rather appreciate that.
It's a puzzle where you have to spend resources, and you don't know if they could be more useful later on. So that makes it very scary. Every time you use a resource, you have gotten out of that situation, but could you have gotten out of that situation without expending it? And later on, will you need what you just used? Is really like the next level. It's the next level play, when you start to think as your tower climb as a whole, right?
Right. So we see Dreamy choose to pass up the elevator there. That may be because he's looking for the blue color.
Yes.
Need it for fusing purposes, because he does have a C seat for fusing to change CUNY's element. But he may want to have the opportunity to, say, fuse an Arachne for double attack, or any number of other things. Sampling the peanut fruit there to make sure it's good before giving it to your familiar. Every year a few familiars die from eating unripe peanut fruits, so it's definitely a good idea to check.
The scary part, though, if he intended, now that's not in play anymore, but if he intended to fuse, you should wait to give that Peter fruit after and not before, because your MP becomes an average of both monsters, and then your Peter fruit is going to be worth less when averaged. And
right. It might be a little bit before he fuses, given that CUNY's presumably
Poison Ball. Poison Ball was used on a new Yell, which is immune. That's the kind of thing you know until you are in a situation where you try to think fast. And during the animation, I can tell you now, Dreamy was like, what am I doing? He knows about those kind of things.
CUNY is quite low on Razorflame's side. Ouch. He's been given a medicinal herb and been told to move, so That's gonna be 1 HP. He does have those 2 restore scrolls, or at least one of the 2, in the bank, but ooh.
Cannot restore Ko.
Yes, that's true, and those troll swords do cut directly through shields. Oh, and the Dreamin' misses. Wow, Cuny had that much HP left in him? I am a little bit surprised. And Dreamy finds another go-up trap. Wow.
I just clicked the exclamation mark Azure, and you see some links. The last one in the bottom is the Discord link, and I see people in chat chatting about our community. It is a ever-growing community that has grown kind of out of hands. We are close to 500 members, which is kind of impressive for a game such as this one, even though there are more people than I thought it would be that love this game as a child. That we gathered so many people is still always something that I'm really appreciative of, but also very impressed. And yeah, every time we run, we have new people join in and enjoy these tournaments, but also just chat about the game they love when they were younger. So you're absolutely welcome to come in. It's called Azure Dream Speedrun, and it is where we actually set up the speedrun thing. But this is definitely just a place to love the game. You don't need to speedrun anything. You can just come in and have fun and chat with us. Yeah, feel free to join this link.
Very well put. So, we have here Cuny, who's been switched over to water on Dreamy's side, tackling that Newell. Meanwhile, Razorflame has come across what I think was a
oh my, that's the trap.
Ooh.
No. At least he's water, so I think he's going to win that duel.
Yep.
Let's go,
Thankfully.
Cuny.
But that is quite unfortunate, or at least fortunate that he survived, and he did have those restore scrolls in case he didn't, but Dreamy deciding to not head towards that massive thing of Kruda's, given that he's just changed element. Smart play there, and has nearly caught up.
That's what I was going to say. Like, obviously, Razorflame just found the elevator to 18, but during that time, DreamyVision has found 2 or 3 of them. He's catching up slowly but surely.
Yep. Of course, Razorflame still in the lead, also spawning in the floor with the elevator.
Ooh.
Brung, if I know DreamyVision, he is going to fish for wait, did he throw a Mazar seed in, or was that on the health seed?
Yeah,
okay. Alright, that's fair.
So we talked about Slot Machine and Konami earlier. So what we're going to do here is throw items into that barong, that enemy, and he's going to spit something new every time. Yeah, equip that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of a very, very nice thing you can do. You can recycle 5 of your item before not having enough MP to do it anymore, and he's going to give you a crap ton of XP if you kill it, so...
Yep, 256 XP, and for you and your familiar, or total if you happen to be the same level or higher. It is 4 items that you can send through the Brung recycling facility. Because each one takes 20 MP, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense, yeah. 20.
Ooh, Razorflame takes a Viper hit to the face and is down on 20 at 30 minutes in.
That's very unfortunate. But if he added time to die, that was probably his last chance. He did 20 floor in 30 minutes. He can definitely beat it in the same amount of time. He's got 30 minutes left. But he's got a much stronger Cuny than he did the first time he entered. So that's going to play for a big part. Though, it means that at some point, DreamyVision's gonna go down. Sorry. For him to have a chance, because if he continues to just climb and climb and climb, Razorflame to catch up, that's going to be a tall order. But we've seen Crazier play before.
Oh, certainly. And, well, we don't have favorites here in the commentary booth. I presume you're in your booth. I'm certainly in mine.
Yeah, the commentary booth. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, the one that we constructed specifically to not be seen on stream.
Yes, the
that one. So here we have no favorites, but we do root for more Azure Dreams, and we would like to see a game 3.
We post one game every 3 game, and it's always during match 2 for the one that lost on the first round. So always. So yeah, go razorflamekun. We want to see a 3rd match. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Yep. So Dreamy starting to fight a little bit. I didn't heal up all the way before going up. If you are, of course, spending some time, running through the floors, you're getting back some of the HP, reasonably quickly. And we see double poison traps that Flame had encountered before and had used a trap loop to avoid.
And poison traps are the real slow traps. Because everything acts depending on your actions. When you're slowed, enemy does move twice, but enemy movement is really fast in this game, so it doesn't really slow your play style or the gameplay, but the poison trap makes it so every time you take a step, there's an animation being played, and it slows you down so bad. And where we're grinding like first to 10s and very fast categories, we called poison trap the real slow trap because that's the only one that really slowed you down.
It's true that if there are no monsters around and you're just breezing through the corridors, the slow trap will actually only cost a second or so for the that's uncharacteristically not like DreamyVision to just let a picket go ahead and
and these spiders are telling you, that fireball is ours, leave our floor. Which you did, was definitely the play here, but it's really sad to lose a fireball for free. But with that elevator, it would be out of the picket floor, so I assume that's what he's going to go for. And floor 20, he ties in with razorflame's highest floor reach so far. So did the situation that razorflame got into will happen on DreamyVision's side, and will he fall at the same place? I mean, yeah, that's scary.
It's entirely possible. Vipers are going to hit hard. DreamyVision has a little bit of better shield, but I don't know that he's quite as high of a level as razorflame was.
I don't think so.
Given that it was Ko that got attacked, CUNY's element doesn't even come into the picture.
Yes.
So, I also do like, of course, that razorflame, of course, realizes that he can come back from this, definitely not giving up. We'll be keeping an eye on that as well. Although Dreamy's in the lead, we normally switch over audio. Dreamy does not have usable audio, so we'll keep that on razorflame's side.
Yes, absolutely. It's DreamyVision's game to win. He's not in the lead yet, so he needs to clear this floor to be. But if he does clear this floor, he's going to have a very powerful lead. That doesn't mean anything still. He can die anytime, and razorflame has got a lot of time to actually make it very high, as long as he's just blazing through these floors, as he is. Like, oh my god. Speaking of rooms, this is a very rare occurrence. I think it's like, 1 in 4,000 or something?
No, it's not quite as rare as that. It's 1 in... 1 in 256, or perhaps slightly more.
Okay.
Still.
Exploring these rooms, though, that seemed like a scary idea.
So let's explain their. Thankfully, CUNY is a high enough level to be able to fend for himself.
That's true. That's
and
true.
He's gone on and turned him to fighter CUNY, so he will be attacking. But
physically,
one room floor, all of the monsters are able to see you, and just kind of hone in on your position. A cursed leather shield. That's a little bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, he just picked the blue sand as well, so that definitely was going to go for that leather shield.
Yes, we should mention that in addition to being unable to remove a cursed item, you can also not buff it with sands.
Mm-hmm. And you always want to be buffed by sand.
Right.
That's someone changing subject real fast.
So, Dreamy has made it up to floor 21, so he officially does have now.
Yes.
Exploring a little bit for resources, we're seeing him perhaps slow down a little bit. This might be to his benefit. He certainly has made it a little bit higher, faster in this match, so he may be feeling a little bit good, but when you've got an opponent that you also know is quite capable of getting quite high, you never want to let your guard down, and not knowing, of course, what your floor your opponent is on means that you can sometimes play mental tricks on yourself.
Oh, absolutely. 100% right on this one. And he is playing mind tricks on himself. He just misstepped twice and took a hit on both himself and Cuny instead of giving an extra attack. So that's going to be kind of scary. Ice Rock is going to do it, I think. Yeah, let's go. But I think he's going to bail. Yeah. You don't want to fight at such a low HP to even start the battle. This is another slow trap, so having to use an Ice Rock is very powerful, very good ball. But it does make the gameplay slow down quite a bit. Yeah, he should just leave. Yeah. He is in a very scary part of the tower. Like I said earlier, 20 is the moment where the tower is going to tell you should go back home.
He is risking a potential miss there. But he did have the high ground, so may or may not have been able to survive that hit. I don't have the intuitive sense of the numbers as you do. We also see Razorflame going ahead and changing that lineup. Definitely like that to ensure that Cuny is directly behind him.
The thing that was scary for me, because I risk those kinds of plays as well most of the time, but I'm not sure I would have done it this time because he was cursed once during this run, so he is still on lower accuracy, and that scares me quite a bit. Just to give you an idea, even when uncursed, your accuracy goes up and down and up and down in some kind of a curve, right? Or a wave. And just an example I remember at the top of my head is Dark Sword's highest accuracy is 92%, but at its lowest, it's 75. So there's a huge difference in terms of accuracy depending on where you are on that curve. And imagine that 75%. While curse is going to be even lower than that. So yeah, you don't want to attack anything or bet your life on a hit that's lower than 75% chance. If you've played any Fire Emblem games below 97% chance to hit, you don't want to test anything.
Sure. No, I'll note that the being cursed means that you're just more likely to be at the lower end of that luck range, so it's not even lower than 75%. But
it's more often at 75%.
Yeah. That's your luck fluctuates. I think it's between 32 and 40. I don't want to just give random numbers.
No, but that's fine. That's fine. The point stays. I mean, it's a huge difference normally. So that's too scary for me. I'm too old for this.
Yeah, so your luck normally ranges between 32 and 96, and it will only go between, I think, 32 and either 48 or 64 if you're cursed.
Okay, so your highest lowers, but your lower doesn't go lower.
Correct. Yes.
Huh. Tovar won't factor into this, Revan, because your luck gets overwritten every turn. So if you eat that Tovar seed, your Ko is gonna get +1 luck, and on the next turn he's gonna not have +1 luck. So yeah.
Oh, Zane, I feel that so strongly sometimes.
30% chance to hit. Miss enemy 30% chance to hit. That's basically 100%. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's so yeah. That's not anybody's experience. I mean, that's everybody's experience, or should I say?
Yep.
One friend of mine tried to get into the Fire Emblem games, and he really is not into any random type of things. He likes to make a plan. And I was like, no, Fire Emblem is nice. You can make a plan that's good enough. And he got to a boss where he had 98% chance to hit. He missed. And the boss was not going to kill him, but had a 1% chance to crit, and he crit. And he just unplugged the controller and went back to his home. He didn't even speak to me. I was like, oh my, he's not gonna play a Fire Emblem game anymore, and he never did.
That's really rough.
Yeah, I sold him the idea of playing these games so hard, and he was absolutely doing it only because I told him to. And I think I think he hates me now. I think he should play Azure Dream. Azure Dream is nice.
You know, Sarah Knight, when people say to you that you're 1 in a million, they're not talking about the odds of 2 unlucky things happening. They mean it more sincerely, is what I mean to say.
Nice, excellent. I mean, I'm the one to blame anyway, so that's fine.
So, as we see, some interesting strats here. Razorflame throwing a light seed at that bloom in order to make it a fire monster and a little bit easier to take out with his fire elemental attack than being disadvantaged versus water. And we saw DreamyVision use 2 resources there, both a Ice Rock Ball charge and ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, miss shot
and
there.
a Mahel
that's scary
to get by without a potential case of yeah, so
actually you want to see,
no matter how many times you park at it, is not going to get paralyzed. Or even if you cast a paralysis spell, it's still not going to get paralyzed.
Yeah, but he's quite lucky though, because he needs that wall of ice to stand for as long as it can. Oh my god. Oh my, okay. DreamyVision, please. Let's go. That's good. Okay, CUNY eyes is changed. That's absolutely fine. Okay, that's all scary. Everything here can paralyze him or try to anyway. Another Ice Rock, I think that's the play. You pick up CUNY and you get out of dodge as fast as you can. Let's go. Okay, he's fine. Oh my.
And it's going to be a little bit slow because those animations, it really has to show you exactly how much pain that wall of ice is feeling. But, and that frog is going to turn back after, I think about 32 turns or so.
Yeah, luckily it went the other way, so when it turns back, it won't be in his face, but, did he get a feel of an enemy close in? Because we should talk about that. Some enemies are invisible, we have the stealth, which is actually a giant turtle type of thing. You play very well going around it. But yeah, these turtles with drill hands or whatever. He's boxing himself in. Yeah, okay, take the higher elevation and fights. That's nice. We are in a very scary position here. He's low health, and we know there is one invisible enemy, but it could be more than one.
Yep, it's true. And he won't be able to one-shot it due to the fact that he's at an elemental disadvantage.
Yeah, he's gonna have to what I was gonna say. Down goes CUNY.
He does still have...
Look at that!
Yeah, or at least all you can.
What is this?
That is the biggest parade of fire or wind monsters I've seen in quite some time. He does have the poison ball, which I think would probably be a good choice there if it does have charges left, but he doesn't have too much breathing room. He did use a white sand on the what do you call it? The Ice Rock Ball earlier, but so might have been hoping the star glasses would reveal the presence of the stealths.
Yeah,
unfortunately, that is the monster loop, which would reveal those. Oh, and unfortunately the stealth was in his face, which means that the ice rock...
Yeah, it doesn't show. It doesn't go.
And when it's no longer flashing, oh, and down goes
And
green
he's
and 25.
Oh my! Yeah, that
Yeah.
was kind of scary. You know when I said that there's not a lot of dangerous wind monsters when you have the water strat? Well, blame Sand Knight. This room was terrifying. Only to exit as soon as he got deeper into the room to loot. I was like, let's just hope these monsters doesn't get to pincer him in. And geez, they did.
Yep. I suppose it's one of the pitfalls of not actually taking them out, but just trying to evade them, is they can build up over time.
Oh, yeah.
So, DreamyVision has reached 25. Razor Flame will need to reach 26 or higher before the hour is up in order to potentially bring this back to a tied match.
Yes. That means 16 floor in 13 minutes. That is absolutely feasible, though it is not an easy task. It will have to go double speed starting now. He does, like, you get a feel of the timer at some point. And if you're on floor 10, at 48 minutes, I guess you should get the feel that you should start to, like, go a little bit faster. I assume that's what he's going for. And as long as we see him run, I think he could make it.
Right. And we've seen Razor Flame hustle before. We see just an instance of that right there. Walking in and letting the Dreamin get the first attack.
Yes.
And that leather shield doing yeoman's work. Letting go dodge, jump onto the void, and jump back out. Never mind how that works.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Dreamin actually causing sleep for once. Thankfully, CUNY's quite a high level, so this shouldn't be a problem. But just in terms of time, that's not what Razor Flame needed right now.
Yeah, exactly. He still lost a little bit of time. If only 15 seconds, it's still, like, it feels like a minute when you're asleep and you know that you're not actually, like, moving forward towards your opponent. I absolutely don't blame DreamyVision for not going for another climb. He's not going to be 25 floor in 13 minutes. He gave it his best effort. That seems like a very good run anyway. So we're going to get to see if razorflamekun gets to beat that. Can't wait to see if he actually can. We want to see more Azure Dreams, don't we?
Absolutely. We see the water ball being used on CUNY.
Yes.
Which gives it says water protection, by which it means
oh yeah, look at that. 1 damage.
Yes.
Yeah. That is so beautiful.
So it is a big damage reduction from fire elemental sources.
Yes.
I believe it at least drops it by, I think, to 1/4 before defense is even applied.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen a CUNY on level like 22 or something take 3 damage from a dragon. So yeah, we know how powerful it is. CUNY, fire CUNY, face tanking a dragon is not something you're gonna see every day. Yeah, water ball can be extremely good, but obviously it doesn't work on either a water or a wind monster. Just do nothing. So it's very circumstantial, but when it works, it works.
Yep. That's something that I've liked about Flame's playstyle. Will decide to use, take advantage of some inventory items that others may leave behind. We also saw a little bit of that from Dreamy, where he did, make a little bit of use of poison balls, which others can leave behind. CUNY is a little bit low on MP there.
And that's what I was going to say. This is all fine and dandy what he's doing, using CUNY to fight because CUNY is stronger. But it does make it a little bit slower, which is fine. I think he should still, like, at least play safe in some kind of a way. Not too safe, but I mean, like, not risk too much for nothing. But it does make your MP cost go high a lot. And we see the backlash of that. What does he even have to heal CUNY's MP now?
Yeah, I don't recall if he has... I thought he had some sort of MP restoration item, but I'm not confident enough to say what it is.
I think he probably has at least an egg. That should be fine.
Yep. Could have also potentially been a water crystal. I didn't.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Catch.
I only recently discovered that I knew vipers obviously have a weird AI towards eggs, but I never knew they actually restored 100 MP instead of 50 when they eat them. Oh my! Yeet!
Yes, that's absolutely true. And
he's in trouble now. He needs to pick up.
Yeah.
Holy Bell works. Yeah, that's good. Just hope that it doesn't get too. Yeah, he's fine.
Yep. And I would have actually, even in as tense of a situation as it is, tried to heal up a little bit before going to the next floor, since you had the production of a Holy Bell. But Razorflame knows that he's playing for his tournament life here. Yeah. And those nerves, they can really get to a player, even if it was a conscious choice, of course.
This is still the thing I always think about, is regenerating Elf on the elevator. That's all that comes into my mind when I see that I'm going to the next floor. During that going into the elevator animation, that's all I think about, but it's too late. Oh my! Oh yeah, Letter Shield, he's fine! Wow! Yeah. Let's go! Letter Shield, best shield 2020. No! Can he survive a hit? That's 14 he takes, right? He cannot. Oh, is he gonna go mild? That's not good. I think you need to risk the dodge. And 14 exactly to the dot. That should seal the deal. Is he gonna attempt anything else? I assume not. 7 minutes to beat his own PB should be some kind of a tall order.
Yeah. So we got a confirmation that he was choosing to end it here. That's a reasonable choice, as you mentioned. We will see if our runners are interested in a friendly third or an interview.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, this was a set of race. Let's be honest here. These guys have given it their all. These seeds weren't really friendly. They were really tough. But obviously, if I am the one who made them, that's what's going to happen, right? Yeah, I mean, wow. I'm so impressed. But Dreamy got the upper end today. It could have been something else another day. But they're not out of tournament, either of them, because we are going to play next week, obviously, the finals, but we're also going to play a match for third place. So Razorflame is going to face off against Rizenair for that third place. So they're not out of tournament yet. They get to play one final game, but they lose the access or the chance to be the star tournament winner. So yeah, that's kind of a huge blow. But he played well. He definitely gave DreamyVision some sweat, even though he didn't know. But DreamyVision was the winner here today. He just played a little bit better, and yeah, he got just a little bit higher. That's what you want to see. Matches like that, like these, are why I love this game so much. Even though they had very different experience, even though the tower was the same, they still had to trade their leads a lot. They had really tough situation, had to reclimb and everything, but they did. And yeah, wow, these two runners.
So DreamyVision will be able to join us for interview, but having a bit of technical difficulty at the moment. Trying to get that sorted out. I'll also note that let me get a new link here for DreamyVision.
That's fine.
Actually, I don't know that I can invite him without passing the original link.
Give me a sec. We should have that somewhere in here.
Because working on that.
I think
in any case, There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, Dreamy.
Hey,
GG.
GG.
GG, my man. That was a very fine performance.
Dude, I don't know how it was on his side, but what a weird set of games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That first one, I don't even remember most of it, but I know that I really hit my stride in like the last 10 minutes. I cleared like 10 floors or something like that.
Yeah, so just a little bit of context here. You entered the tower twice on on the first seed, and Razorflame entered 3 times. He made his big climb on his 3rd attempt because the first 2 either died or decided to wind out, which we thought was absolutely the right move. And the lead traded back and forth several times. I've got, floor 4 Dreamy, floor 5 Razor, next exchange floor 9 Dreamy, 15
exactly
for Razor, 18 Dreamy, 19 Razor. It was intense.
That was kind of crazy because, like you said, Dreamy, you had a slow start, but then a very fast finish. During that slow start, Razorflame had to reclimb 2 times, so he got in and out very fast 2 or 3 times. At 20 minutes, he was on floor 1 for his final climb, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So that was not a good start, but then he started to catch up, and he was catching up back to you. And then you guys, that's where you started to run a little bit faster. He was already catching up to you, even though he was as his 3rd entry. And then you started trading like crazy. There was no way that one of you would make 2 elevators unless before the other one actually catch up the lead. That was just madness. And at some point, you were not in the same tower. It wasn't his 3rd one. You were in your 2nd. So you started to find that elevator train that it would not get.
Yeah.
And that was like suddenly you were 10 floor ahead of him.
Yeah, I had like 3 people DM me on the side being like, "Holy cow, what is this elevator chain? Holy crap!" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm enjoying this."
Oh yeah, I think you were already in the lead when that happened, but that cemented your lead by so much. He was still playing very well, but there was no catching up to that. He had 1 bad floor where the elevator was like in the final room he checked in, and during that time you made like 10 floor in a row. Even when you didn't see the elevator on the spin, the first room you would check, that was the elevator, and ciao bye, next room. That was very impressive and very, very obviously a little bit of luck as well. But
definitely,
you need both in Azure Dreams to move on. The second seed was a little bit tougher on Razorflame.
Hold up, let's give Dreamy a chance to give. This is an interview, not a monologue here. So.
I know that Razorflame, he's one of the newer players, and from what I'd seen, he's a little bit inconsistent. So I figured that for both games, or the 3rd game even, I was thinking that I should slow play it for the most part. And so in my head, for both games, I was kind of like, well, if I don't get a good set of items early, I'm just going to try and win Crystal out early and then go for like a 2nd clear. And so the first game, I actually got a pretty decent set. I think I had the CC and all that. I had a pretty solid set of items that I was fairly confident with. And then I am the absolute king of this. I came up on a crack and I checked my familiar's HP, and I was like, once again, I know this is in every interview, but I was like, there's no way he can one-shot me or my familiar here. And then he high roll crit blew out my Kuni, and I was like, okay. Well, I was planning on going for it, but I guess I'm win crystalling out here. Thanks, Kraken. And then the second game, the second run in that tower, I slow played it, and then I think I reached a point where it was like, oh, there's 15 minutes left, and I'm not as high as I want to be. And so I just started going into go mode, and that's when I kind of hit the elevator train. And I was pretty confident at that point, a little bit too much so, because I basically killed myself on 30. And then the second game was actually kind of the opposite, where I got everything I wanted early. It was funny. I think we got 3 wands on the first floor and a shield. And I was like, okay, well, some of these are definitely cursed, so I have to just try and coin flip this. And I ended up getting a curse I think it was a cursed stream one or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I ended up waiting because I was like, I don't want to risk this for these. And then I got the stream one, and it was like, all right, I'll roll the dice on this. It was cursed. Tried the shield. It was cursed. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, 100%. I'm gonna just. I know I have something that's not cursed in my inventory, so I'll find a wind crystal, and I'll just bow out. And I ended up finding the T-cursed scroll, and then the other items that I tried were not cursed, and I was just like, well, screw it. I guess I'll make a run of this one. And then it ended up working out until I got a little greedy. I should have star glassed that floor. The monster density was really high. It was a lot of wind monsters, and I really should have star glassed earlier. But I also didn't expect to get boxed in by like 8 monsters in one room. So,
Yeah.
That room was crazy. Considering you had the water cuny as well, having all those monsters were wind. Like,
yeah, I didn't even get a single water or fire monster. It was just all wind. I was like, come on, man.
that's doubly scary because, like I said, you had the water cuny, and you already spent all those resources in that small corridor where you had to wiggle room around using that ice rock and stuff.
Yeah.
And you were already running low on resource, and then that room happened, and it was like, oh my god! And you were you got pushed farther into that dead end into the room, and I knew there was no coming back. Not with the adventure you had, but at least you tried really hard.
Did anybody else
I'll
notice? I don't know if this is a thing, but there was a stealth that was it killed my monster, and I had an ice rock, and I think it was like 3 times in a row. It rolled only on the monster. I was like, do these things just ignore ice rocks? Like, am I messing this up?
Definitely, if you attempt to fire the ice rock and the stealth is there, which happened at least
I mean,
once.
like, it was in the final room. I was on a ledge. The stealth was directly in front of me. I had me and my familiar, and I put an ice rock beside it, and it still targeted my monster every time.
Yeah, the targeting priorities, I don't quite know the intricacies there.
I was like pretty confident up until that, and then it slammed my monster, and then I was like, okay, well, there's pretty much no coming back from this.
Right. I will say that you weren't just extraordinarily unlucky to not get a or to get all wind monsters on floor 25. That's because floor 25 only has wind monsters.
Oh, I did. Well, that's good to know.
And just again, a little bit of context here. So in that second match, Razorflame was ahead of you up until floor 20, where you with a few floor lead, maybe 1 level. So
yeah, I actually thought I was pretty confident that I was going to lose that second game. I hit 25, but there was like still enough time left in the game that he could potentially pass me if he was behind, but there wasn't enough time for me to beat my own score. So I was like fairly confident that he was actually gonna win that second game.
Yeah, and he took a hit from a Viper, which sent him out of the tower, kind of around the 30-minute mark, and so he was making his way back, and did make a valiant climb, but it did unfortunately for him not work out. But I think that it was an exciting set of matches. Any final thoughts you might have?
No, it was a good set. Like I said, it didn't really go how I expected. I don't know. I slow played it, and it still ended up being like crazy.
Yeah, welcome to Azure Dreams.
yeah. No matter how I play, it doesn't quite go how I think it's gonna go.
Right.
So that does mean you are moving forward into the tournament, which is going to be next week with the finals. Any words on like, are you excited? You're going to play against Chai. That's going to be scary as well.
Oh, it is Chai. Okay, so yeah, I think we both went undefeated all the way till the end.
But that's gonna stop next week. So who's going down?
I don't know. I don't want to be super. Chai, from what I've seen, is a really, really consistent player. I don't want to act like I think I'm absolutely going to win. I've had a really good run so far. Even when I've gotten unlucky, I've still managed to squeak by. So I think it could be anybody's game, and I'm looking forward to it. And by looking forward to it, I mean absolutely not. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so stressed out.
Yep. So we encourage you all to tune back into Speed Gaming to watch those finals, as well as the third place match. I'm looking forward to both of those. You can get details on timing from the Azure Dreams Discord, or of course, check the schedule on speedgaming.org. With that, I would like to thank Speed Gaming for hosting us. They do such a wonderful job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dreamy. Thank you, Razorflame, for putting on a great performance. Let's go ahead and encourage everyone to follow this here.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to the casters for what I hope was a fun and exciting game. Also, I want to give a nice shout out to the U-Boat Brotherhood, my partner in crime, Poulet, who finally showed up to watch one of my games and cheer me on.
Yep, and the rest of chat for being there and enjoying some great puns with us. So with that, we're signing off. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, chat. Love you. Bye-bye.